Let's do it.
Hit record, and I'm going to say I am on with Jordon Ferber. Hi.
Okay.
And I have a few questions about TCF and being a bereaved sibling that I'm going to ask you. And this video will be posted on the TCF Sibs page. Okay.
Perfect.
So first of all, how did you learn about TCF?
Well, I always tell this story because it's quite amusing to me. My parents started going to TCF about 3 weeks after my brother died, and they kept mentioning to me that my local chapter had a siblings group, and they kept mentioning it. And I eventually went specifically so they would stop mentioning it. That was my plan. My plan was I was going to go. It wasn't going to be helpful, and we would never have to talk about it again. And it's 16 years later, and I am my chapter's co-leader, and my parents don't really go anymore. So the irony of it is not lost on me, that I went initially not expecting it to be as helpful as it was.
Right. I completely understand. But that's an interesting story that they don't even go much anymore, but you're still involved. I know I'm glad to have you involved.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm happy and grateful that there is a siblings group within my chapter, and I have felt for a long time that it is sort of my responsibility to make sure that that group continues to exist. It's so important and so vital to my survival that, until I know for a fact that I can walk away and it's going to be in good hands, I'm there to make sure that it continues to be.
Absolutely. And I thank you for that. So does many other people. So another question is, tell us about your brother.
Well, my brother Russell was killed in a car accident in July of 2002 at the age of 21. He lived more in 21 years than most people I know live in a lifetime. He was the kind of kid that always asked for forgiveness and not permission. He got away with things that you wouldn't even think to even try to get away with. He was born with a growth hormone deficiency, so he had to take shots every day to grow. So he really looked a lot younger than he was until he got to be in his later teen years.
Wow.
And he was a very smart, very street smart kid. And he could talk you into anything. Sometimes I felt like he wanted to get into trouble just so he could talk his way out of it.
Now, was he older or younger than you, Jordon?
He was younger. He was 3 years younger.
Okay.
Than me. I always say that for a lot of his life, he looked up to me. When he was 5, somebody asked him what he wanted to be when he grew up, and he said 8.
He said 8. Bless his heart.
Because I was 8.
Oh, that's sweet.
And sometime around the 16, 17-year-old age is when he actually did surpass me in many, many facets of life. So
that's funny.
Yeah.
And I enjoy hearing some of your Russell stories too.
I got a lot of good ones. That's
right. Siblings are often referred to as the forgotten mourners in TCF. How do you relate to that statement?
Well, I think we can all agree to some degree that there's a lot of disenfranchised grief out there, and a lot of people don't always get the acknowledgement that they are seeking when they're trying to just vent. And I think siblings are among the group that's most often overlooked, considering a lot of people always ask, oh, your parents must be devastated. That seems to be the prevailing comment when you tell people that you lost a sibling, is they ask about your parents. I actually have a workshop at the national conference that I've been running for the last couple of years called How's Your Mother? Which is often the number one question that we get.
Right.
And we're often told that we have to be strong for the family. I was only 24, but I still felt like I had to grow up really fast in a lot of ways to comfort my parents and be there to be the person to answer phone calls and all that.
Right. And I understand. And for anybody that's watching this video, if you do make it to the national conference, please attend that workshop. It is a fabulous workshop.
Yeah.
And also, what have you found helpful within TCF?
Well, just to reiterate some of the things, it's so the acknowledgement that you get from people that have been through it, that are there with you, is there's nothing like it. There are no quick fixes to this. There's no magic pill that you can take that makes any of this go away. But I find that it is a lot harder when you're not given permission by other people to grieve the way that you do. And I think that we take a lot of it for granted when you're given permission, but a lot of times when you're not, you tend to not give yourself permission to go through it the way that you go through it. So just having a place where my feelings are acknowledged, and I feel like I can express myself without people shutting me down or telling me what I should or shouldn't be doing is immeasurable. Just having a place where I can be open and honest, and get somebody to just listen without trying to find some fix is really, yeah, it's really impactful for me to have a place where I can do that.
I completely agree. And that national conference, I think, gives us all a place to go at least once a year that people don't think we're crazy.
Oh, yeah, right. It's exactly what it is. I think the national conference is such a total immersive experience where everywhere you go within the hotel or within the complex where we have the conference, literally everybody that you run into is there for the conference. And so there's an unspoken understanding of why we're all there. I feel like the conference is really where I learned how to be myself again in a lot of ways. The workshops are great to be able to let out some of those thoughts and emotions, but the in-between times is a great place to just learn how to be again and be able to be social and smile and laugh at stupid things and just get back to a sense of normality of what it is to just be in the world. That's what I really take away most from the conference is being able to know that no matter who I talk to, I don't have to worry about which foot I'm putting forward. I can be just Jordon, you know?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that answered one of my questions. And the last one I'll ask you is, what would you like people to know about being a bereaved sibling? Is there anything else you would like to share about being a bereaved sibling?
It's interesting. I don't know if I think about it necessarily specifically as being a bereaved sibling, but I think just being somebody that has lost somebody that was hugely impactful in my life. It's weird to have a sense of the loss and how much I've gained by having had him in my life in the first place. And both of those things happened to me concurrently, you know, to negotiate those things in my mind at the same time. I continue my relationship with him. I talk about him and what he means to me as often as I would if he were here. And there isn't a day that goes by where I don't find ways to introduce his energy and his legacy to more and more people. And I think that regardless of whether or not you've lost a sibling, a child, a parent, a grandparent, whoever it is that's been something that really impacted your life, that there are so many ways that you can keep that person alive in your life and in the ways that you talk about them to other people. That's uplifting and also gives that person an opportunity to share something about their life with you as well. Really lets people in a way that they want to share with you as well. So it gives them the same kind of permission to be open with you.
Absolutely. Jordon, I wanted to tell you thank you for your time today. And I wanted to say you are one of my rock stars and one of my heroes. Those that don't know it, Jordon and I go back, about what, 15 years?
Something like that.
Something like that. But I'm looking.
Who's counting, really?
What's that?
Who's counting?
Oh, absolutely. And I look forward to seeing you at the National Conference in St. Louis.
I am excited.
I am too. I love you, brother.
Yeah, love you.
All right. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.